Hey Ryan,
Hey, Justin.
how are you?
Fantastic.
Good, good. Summer's right around the corner, and if you're a teacher, we got this. We got this. Ryan, when it comes to your lifestyle and everything, how much is enough?
No, that's a great question. En- Enough is what you can live off comfortably, and
Mm-hmm.
and then maybe some extra money for fun. So if you can comfortably live off 5,000 a month to pay for your essentials, basically,
Nice.
and maybe want an extra 1,000 or 2,000 a month for travel or for whatever you do for fun,
Okay.
that's your enough. The problem is a lot of people, as their paychecks go up, their enough
Their enough goes
increases.
up.
Yes, and if you can keep that enough, like somewhat stabilized, then you don't have to keep making more money down the road.
Okay. So a recommendation would probably be to get your spending in check.
Yeah,
Figure out where you're at, how much is always going out, and then you can kind of decide or figure out a little bit better what is enough.
exactly. I was listening to a podcast today actually,
Hmm.
and the guy had a great idea. He said, anytime I got like a 3% raise, I would put 2% to my investments and then allow my lifestyle to grow about 1%.
Yeah,
So it's not like you want to stay, not allow your lifestyle to grow that much.
right. We want to still enjoy life. We
Yeah,
don't want to live off rice and beans,
yeah,
ramen,
exactly.
right? We're
But
not in
he
college.
didn't put all 3,000, 3% and say, all right, just more fun money. He kind of did
Yeah,
both. Um,
nice.
yeah,
I like that. I like that. Um, so let's say, for example, if you're making like $100,000, you're actually not taking home that full $100,000,
true.
right? Here in Colorado, we have about a 32%, 35% income tax. And so you're only bringing home about 74, 72, 74, 73, somewhere around there.
Okay.
And so that's the number that I would recommend you look at when you start thinking about how much is enough, right?
Yeah.
Not the 100,000 because you're not even living off of 100,000.
No, that's a great point. Whatever after taxes, that's the money you have to
Yeah,
spend.
right.
That's a good point.
So if you're making that 100,000 and you're living off of 101,000,
Ooh.
but technically you're only bringing in 74, we're in kind of a pickle.
Yeah, you shouldn't be doing
Yeah.
that.
Okay. So I like how you brought up, finding those expenses. Some of the things that I could think about was like your mortgage or your rent, maybe your utilities.
Right.
What other things can come to your mind when you think about your everyday expenses or every monthly expenses?
Right. Transportation's a big one.
Nice.
Um, you might not have any car payments, which is great,
Yep.
but the maintenance, the car insurance,
Darn it.
new tires, which can, depending on what you drive, they can be
Yep.
pretty expensive.
Yep.
So
I gotta get new tires myself.
do you really?
Yep.
Oh man. Yeah. So some people budget in like transportation part of their budget, maybe $200 a month.
Hmm.
So they have that money kind of allocated for when.
Yep.
Yeah.
One other thing that I would throw in is if you have those debts, bring that into your enough fund because you're not there yet. So you still have that debt. You have to account for it somewhere.
Yeah.
Once you find that number, right, that's the starting point. Let's just say, for example, it is that 5,000 that you mentioned.
Hmm.
Can you live comfortably on that 5,000?
Right.
Right. I think that's where it's like, if I want a little bit more to live comfortably, because that 5,000 is just my base number,
Right.
like you were saying, maybe you want a little extra fun money.
Exactly. Maybe add 2,000 for
Yeah.
this example, so $7,000. That gives you some leeway. Gives you 20,000 roughly a year to have some fun with,
Yeah.
plan some vacations, whatever
Yep.
you do for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great stuff there. Maybe you are living in Colorado
Yeah.
and so you're enjoying the Colorado money, but part of your plan is to actually like move out east, maybe Ohio
Yeah.
or Kentucky, where it's a little bit cheaper than Colorado. So now that $5,000 has kind of lifted your style of living a little bit, right?
Exactly. No, you got to think about long-term things. Like maybe, like to your point, maybe in 8 years you will be willing to move to a different state, and maybe you'll be lucky it'll be less expensive.
Yeah,
So think long-term too when you're thinking of your enough numbers,
right.
right? So security for some people, that might be part of your equation when you're looking at your enough money,
Yeah,
because that could kick in. And if you delay it to 70, that might change your enough money too, as an
true.
example, because maybe your spouse collects Social Security, because most teachers don't.
Dang it.
Yeah, I know. If we just get that
So,
para-retirement thing,
right,
if we
right.
teach long enough,
Yeah,
the pension.
the pension. I think you bring up a good point though that also follows that like forward thinking. What about your health? Is there something in your family that might kick in a little bit later? Maybe diabetes or maybe cancer, right? Nobody wants any of that to happen, but it's something that you might want to consider when you're thinking about your enough number.
Exactly. I've heard this analogy. It's like a smile. And I'm talking about retirement now a little bit. So let's say you're 60 and you retire. Well, those first handful of years, 5 to 10 years, you're spending more money because you can travel a lot. You have all that
Yeah,
free time. You have your health. Then on the bottom of the smile, it's more sedentary. You don't do as much, but travel and whatnot. But your health isn't that bad.
right.
And then as the smile goes up, that's when you might have health issues that cost more money. So these are things to think about the smile of spending money in those last, let's say, 30 years, for an example.
True. Yeah. And I think that's one of those things. If you're trying to figure out your enough money
Yeah,
uh, earlier on in your career, then that enough money might change if you're planning on having kids or if you're planning on doing some other things. So
exactly.
that enough number could change. Now we've talked about investing before,
Yeah,
and I think these are some of the vehicles that can help us get to that enough money, right?
exactly.
We talked about Fidelity and Vanguard and Charles Schwab investing in 401ks and Roths.
Yeah,
Real estate, we have one of those, a video about that one. And then there's also reduce, which you hit on as well, right?
yeah,
If you're living that high life and maybe you need to pull it back, rein it in a little
yeah,
bit.
exactly. And some people work part time when they retire just because
Yeah,
they enjoy it 10 to 20 hours. So you might consider that as another stream of income later.
yeah, exactly.
So there's a lot of, you just got to know your big picture and what could happen and plan as well as you can because things will change. But at least planning somewhat, you're putting yourself in a better position.
Right. That's kind of it for a nutshell. I just kind of wanted to throw that out there to think about the
Yeah,
enough number,
yeah,
right? If you're trying to get to the imaginary number that you really don't know, well, let's actually make it a reality, right?
yeah.
Let's talk about that enough number.
I love it.
So, till next time, everybody, we'll see you.